I was more than a tulip or a daisy, destined to grow no matter how many times they buried me. I was destined to grow no matter how many times they poisoned my soil and poured concrete over me. If you haven't checked out my fundraiser that I put out on Everything College, I highly encourage you, after you watch this video, to go check it out because it's inspirational and it's really amazing. Head over right now to my YouTube and subscribe. Want to learn about students' experiences at your favorite universities or the university that you're thinking about? Then you're going to want to check out all of the previous interviews on Everything College. Hit that subscribe button to learn more tricks and tips on how to navigate college and how to minimize your debt. Welcome to the last season of What the Undergrad / What the Masters. I hope you enjoy. Gives it a huge thumbs up. It went so fast. We are finally here with the part 2 of the season finale and the final part and the conclusion of What the Grad School / What the Undergrad. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we're going to get straight into the video. Hope you enjoy. Welcome back to Everything College. I'm your host, Christina Parker, supporting your college navigation while minimizing debt. And so in today's episode, we have two special guests. If you haven't seen, we're all ripping our U of M merch. So I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves, and we'll go ahead and start with Flynn.
I'm happy to go first. Hi, everyone. My name is Flynn Alexander. I use the pronouns they and he. I am a non-traditional student. I went to a community college and then transferred to Portland State. I'm from the Pacific Northwest. And then now I'm here in the University of Michigan getting my master's degree in social work. My previous background was in English, so not social work. And currently I reside in Ypsilanti, Michigan. I'm originally from the Pacific Northwest. And I am currently a research assistant for Dr. Shanna Katari, working on a photo voice project with the transgender community on reproductive health and sexual health. So that's really exciting. I'm excited about that project. Let's see, and I've worked in higher education for the last 10 years. So I'm not your traditional fresh out of undergrad student. I'm 32 years old. I'm a worker. So I've been on the field for the last 10 years.
Thank you.
Yes. My turn.
Your turn.
So hello everyone, my name is Alex Wilson. That's my last name. I got my degree in social work. So I got my bachelor's degree in social work. I went to Sac State, and right now I'm getting my master's degree in social work at the University of Michigan. Right now I'm in California, Moreno Valley, California. If you know what it is, it's in the IE. Shout out. Either way, the United States, that's where I'm from as well. My employment, right now, I just got a new job. I'm working at Time for Change Foundation, and I am a peer and housing navigator. So I'm helping women who are recently out of incarceration and getting them connected to housing so that way they can find some stability. I have so many different experiences, doing so many different things, but my last 7 years, I've been working in and out of community organizations and fields. I've been working with youth. Right now, I'm working with women. Yes. I have worked in mental health, for-profit, nonprofit. I have literally done everything from event planning, marketing, anything in there. So yes, all in there. I love what I do. And yeah, I love social work. So
Exactly.
So, last question for y'all is, did you feel like U of M's response to the pandemic was equitable? If not, why or why not? And either both y'all could take it or just one.
I think as far as like financial aid and tuition, no. They charged you for coming to school during a pandemic.
Increase prices.
Yeah. Sure.
And out of state tuition, they didn't reduce, like that would have been a really equitable thing to at least have done. Yeah. Give everyone in-state tuition.
Yeah. For context for viewers out there, University of Michigan has a $7 billion endowment, received millions of dollars for federal funding. And in the middle of a pandemic, they increased prices, and prices for out-of-state tuition is actually doubled what it is for in-state tuition. So not only were tuition increased, fees were also increased, despite them receiving millions of dollars from the federal government twice, and then also having billions of dollars in endowment funds, just to add context for those that are out there. But
Yeah.
great
No
point,
one
great point.
wants no one wants to see their student loans skyrocket. And especially when we're already starting to have conversations around what student loans look like for people and the fact that people never will be able to pay that shit off. And the one thing that we could ask you to do is to use a little bit of your money and just spread it over here, is just so that way people can at least have a livable wage and still be able to, like, still live, like that would have been really equitable, especially since I'm in California. I've been in California this entire time, and all of my classes have been on Zoom, and I feel like I really shouldn't have to pay that much more for me to get something that is free and accessible to basically everybody.
Yeah.
Zoom is free. It's free. Like I don't understand like why you're charging me for Zoom, and like even for like faculty, and just going back to that just for a second, like this is not the first time like this. I've had multiple faculty or professors just like skip out on class, just don't come. And it's just like, well, okay, well, if I'm paying double the amount of my tuition, then why aren't my professors coming on time ready with material for me to absorb? I don't mind class ending early, but like no class is a waste of my time. It's a waste of my money. It's a waste of my energy. Like, especially me worrying about assignments that apparently you're just gonna give me 100 for because you don't care. And yet, I don't know if your salary has increased at all. I don't know if any professor is getting more money this semester or this year than they did in any other year. Yeah. But still at the same time, our tuition increased just so that way we can go on Zoom and get half-ass like learning, half-ass things. And then not even just that, but then even having to correct, ow, sorry, my cat literally like fell and clawed on me. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
You're good.
Woo. That hurt.
No.
Jeez, I don't even know what I was saying. That like threw me right off. But yeah, for real, like I just feel like we're getting like not what we paid for. We're paying way too much just for this. And then not even just that, but for the students that are on campus and that first semester, like even the first 2 weeks, we're sitting over here talking about students have COVID and we're just separating them in wings. We're not sending janitorial staff over there. We're not making sure those kids have food. We're not giving them any NyQuil. We're just telling them, oh yeah, just live in your dorm. It's all good. $7 billion endowment, million, all of that money. And like nothing for those students. We couldn't get them a private nurse, anything. It's just like even those students, even I don't know how much, if they did have to pay more or doubled or whatever that was, but those students still had to pay to come to this school and not even get the care that they would have gotten if we weren't in a pandemic. You feel me? So that's just me.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I do want to add the splash of what is something that y'all found to be beneficial about U of M? Because definitely how they responded to COVID, as y'all have said, was not student-centered, was not friendly, did not take in consideration anything, right? And a lot of experiences of students was, half-assed. But out of that, was there any things that you all were like, I like this, or this really gave me hope, or kind of kept me going in a sense?
I think for me, it's like the learning itself, right? It's the actual engagement that I do get. It's limited, right, because of Zoom. But I've had some like with y'all, right? Like our project was bomb. I don't care about that A-, like it was freaking bomb. Okay, so like there have been moments that have been really great. There have been some teachers. I've had a couple of teachers this term who really did great jobs doing anti-oppressive educational just curriculum, which I think is really cool and rare to find in this program or in this school in general. It's more to social work though. Like I just like learning about what we're learning about. And I like that social work itself, they like at least the program seems to value self-care, even if it doesn't necessarily agree with me on what self-care looks like. Or like the institute, they're kind of barred by institutional barriers, right? But like is a huge institution with a very old following of being complicit in a lot of bullshit. So I understand that. I knew that coming into this, but at the same time, like I still appreciate the community aspect, even how limited it is so far.
Mhm. What about you, Alex?
Yes, it is definitely the learning. I feel you on that, Flynn. I think that my time here, my mind has expanded so much, and I think I'm thinking way more than I thought before. And I don't know if it's just been like the professors themselves and like the things that I have been challenged to read and challenged to think about and to dive deeper into. But yeah, it's definitely my classes, the classes that I really, really love, like social work 504, which is all about like everything that's social justice related, and just learning about the history of just systems. And it's just we just America, whoa. And then just like policy classes and like Colleen, I forgot her last name. Either way, you can edit that out too. But yeah, she was really good with like really getting us to understand and think about policy, not necessarily in oh, America has policies and laws, but really thinking about it like our policies and laws are created by big business and how does that affect you in your life? Like she really took us there, and I really love her for that. And I think that she even made me think a little bit more about Bill Clinton and like his entire thing there. Yes, terrible person.
Yeah,
So
he refused
that
welfare.
expanded, and then all of the assignments too, like just like I told you at the beginning of this, like Jamie Mitchell and the way that she's like made us like have these conversations with people and record them on Zoom and like dive deeper into concepts that are happening now and that have happened in the past and like all of that. I think that the actual sitting down and learning makes me want to learn more. And then I start doing more reading on my own and start diving into more things on my own, like white supremacy. Like I didn't even know what that really was until I took all these different classes and I started reading, and then it was all this. So it's definitely the learning. And like I feel you when you say that, Flynn. Like it's social work, and I love learning about what we want to do and like what we are doing. It's good work.
Yeah, I think the consensus between the two of you is that, right, U of M has a lot of faults, right? But in those, there are some shimmering diamonds, right? That as students that we did get to experience. So how would you all rate your experience at U of M, right? Thinking about the bad and also the good, what would you rate your experience in a 10 scale? So one being
Oh, we get 10.
horrible, you hate it, you wish you would drop out right now at this moment. And then 10 is being the best experience that you've ever had, and it tops all of your undergrad experiences, and yeah, it's just fantastic.
I was gonna give it a 3, but I think I'm gonna actually give it a 5. You know, I think I will give it a 5.
Two more.
Okay. Can you elaborate on why the 5? That's like middle way. It's like not horrible. I mean, it's still F in grading terms, but why a 5?
Okay, why did I pick 5? So I think I'm gonna go with 5 because the learning is good and I'm learning to take it's more so about the learning. It's more so about my ability to take control of my own education. Because we're in these circumstances, I'm giving it a 5 because I have the freedom to actually take control of it in a way that I wouldn't if I wasn't forced into the situation. You know what I mean? And I'm learning from this experience that things that I wouldn't have learned if we were going traditionally, right? So that's why I would rate it a 5.
Thank you.
As opposed to a 3.
What about you, Alex?
I actually would give my experience so far, I would say a 6. So the same exact thing as Flynn. I think that the learning and me taking control over what I want to learn and participating in discussions that are going to be able to feed me intellectually
Mhm.
are what I'm kind of learning right now. And I think that I I think I like that about this entire experience. Like, I feel like because of Zoom and because I'm not necessarily there, I'm forming relationships that I care about, like this one, right? Like, and I'm having discussions with people that actually care about the same things that I care about. And I can see a lot more into like the faults and understanding why U of M is why it is, and like seeing why institutions are the way that they are,
Mm.
taking the learning and being able to apply it. And yeah, that's the reason why I give it a 6, because I can actually like take it, even if the professors are like teaching it to like, a 10%, I'm still taking something and saying, but look at you, this is white supremacy right here, right in this institution. This
Mm.
here, the boss is over here. Yeah, all of this I can actually like go in and see like, okay, well, you're operating from this space and I'm going to choose to take what I can take from this. So yeah, 6.
Thank you for that.
Well said.
So that brings me to my last question for you all. Um, what advice do you all have for any MSW student coming in, or just student in general going into their program this year? We know that the world is opening back up and schools maybe bringing students back, right? And we don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing at the moment. Um, but what would be your advice, regardless of if it's in person or if it's virtual? And we can start with Flynn.
What would be my advice? So similar to what I've gotten out of this, like take control of your learning, right? Take control of what you're learning in class, focusing on paying attention to what interests you, and like go for what's a little bit uncomfortable too, like not being afraid of that discomfort, right? There's like it's uncomfortable to be coming back into in-person learning too
Mhm.
after being in the pandemic. So like having that grace and having that like be aware of like celebrating the fact that we're in this weird situation together, right? Like it can be all shitty if we sit in that,
Yeah,
or it can be, it is what we make of it.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Thank you for that.
For me, if you are going and you are in person, make friends.
Mm.
Like, I think that's like my
Yes.
number one thing. Make friends, get to know these people for real, because you never know if they're going to be like your next partner, or if you're going to do an interview. Hey, or if you are going to like, learn a little bit more from the people that are around you, because everybody comes from a different place, even if they're from the same city. Another thing that I would say, advocate for yourself. Just because you either come from social work or a social work background, or you don't come from a social work background at all, just because your professor might know things doesn't mean they know everything. And advocate for yourself, because you're going to hear some things that are like, excuse me, what? Are you, excuse me, what? And so, advocate for yourself as much as you possibly can. So that way you can get the things that you can get out of this. And that goes back to what Flynn was talking about, like taking upon your own learning, taking upon whatever you want to take out of this, which comes to my last point. Really take in the information that
Mm.
is given to you about structural oppression, that's given to you about white supremacy, that is given to you about all of these things. I believe that the number one demographic of people that are going into U of M are going to be white. And so
Facts.
really do some self introspection for yourself, because you're going to be working in communities in which you are going to be in charge of marginalized identities, marginalized communities. That is where social workers thrive. And if you don't have that within yourself, then this is not going to really be a fun experience for you. And you're just going to keep perpetuating cycles and perpetuating ideologies and perpetuating the things that brought you here in the first place. So just do a lot of internal work, figure out who you are through the learning, and I think you'll be okay.
I
Thank
love
you.
that.
Thank you. Did you want to add on anything before I close, Flynn?
I would add for the white folks who are listening, if you are coming to U of M and I'm still there, please reach out to me if you need help with that stuff that Alex was just talking about. I'm happy to be that person for you and help create community around deconstructing this stuff, because we really need to do it, and white folks need to do that ourselves. We got to stop expecting communities of color to do that for us.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure connecting with the two of you. And I am honored that you all volunteered y'all time on a Wednesday to provide perspective and insight to students that are out there. And to all the students that are watching, if you would like to connect with these two individuals, I'll be linking some information for you to be able to connect with them also in the description below. And any helpful links that I may pull out of the conversation as well will all be there. And as always, stay studious, everyone. And I hope that you like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Bye. Huge round of applause to all these beautiful, amazing, dope, intelligent students and alums. I appreciate all of you for taking your time out to support and to engage in dialogue around college. We know that the pandemic has been so real and hard on many students that are out there. For everyone that is watching and has been tuned into the series, please go ahead and drop "not the end" hashtag that in the comments below. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you share these videos. And if you haven't watched all of these dope individuals, please go back and watch them, because they are more than deserving. Follow them all on their social medias, which will also be in the links on their videos. And thank you all for watching. And again, thank all the participants for discussing and being a part of Everything College miniseries, What the Undergrad / What the Master.